All right, what is going on, everybody? Quancredible here with chapter 74 for the Four Nights of the Apocalypse. So we have like the person who was doing the leaks for the chapter, I think it's banned or just not or didn't do them this week for whatever the reason may be. So the chapter came out a little bit later, which I didn't know when it was coming out, so that kind of made me have to do the review a little bit later. Kind of goes hand in hand there, but still bringing you the review nonetheless. I am really enjoying this series right now. This chapter 74, probably one of my more favorited chapters in a while. And not saying that like the past chapters have been bad or anything, but this chapter just really did bring stuff that I really like out of the series, such as like one of the big things that I've always liked about Seven Deadly Sins, and it's been in Four Nights a little bit, is the team fights. The fact that everyone can contribute in some way, shape, or form, despite some people not necessarily being as powerful as other people. Um, a really good example of this in Four Nights was when they were fighting against Ironside back in Sistania. All of them contributed to that fight in different ways with their varying strengths and weaknesses. So I kind of really like that in this chapter, it's everybody versus Meligaland or Chaos Melaska Gallon, Chaos Beast, whatever you want to call it. I really, really do enjoy that. So at the beginning of the chapter, we do get to see that Gawain is down for the count. I mean, Donnie's down too, but not nearly as much as Gawain. At the end of the last chapter, she did say that she had used up way too much magic, so she's basically passed out snoring. And we do get to see a very interesting thing here, that Gawain shrunk, and we get to see that Nansen's came up with the idea that maybe she was using her magic to maintain that massive form. So as we all know, Gawain is somewhat related to Sunshine and Escanor in some way. We don't know how, but there is some relation there from what Gallon was saying, how, she smells like Escanor's magic or something along those lines. So maybe her thing is she is using magic to make herself bigger, because it's not simply an illusion. The first thing I thought is relating it back to Merlin, to where maybe she's using her magic to just actually appear bigger. But that's not the case, because as we can see, her clothes are still there, and her clothes are legit just too big for her. So this is an actual physical change to her body, more similar to Sunshine. Whereas with Merlin's transformation, it's technically all illusionary. I mean, there are moments, but Merlin claims it's all an illusion. So I'm not for sure if maybe it's, she has to keep up this level of magic to maintain her huge form, or is it like I doubt it's time of day related. It's definitely magical related. So it's already different than Escanor, but again, we still need more information on how exactly whatever her version of Sunshine is. And again, not confirm this that she has Sunshine, but I mean, we all know she has some form of it. We just don't know to what extent. So after that, we do have, Annie Covenor up, and then Donnie's going to get them all out of there. And then this next panel, we have Percival and Tristan charging Meligalan together. This is actually a really cool panel to me, like just those two side by side charge at him, like, the son of the old MC and then the new MC. It really just is a cool panel to me. But as we can see, they crash directly into each other, and then it's kind of weird, like kind of confusing, but they get knocked out from this. Like, they're passed out after they crash into each other, which is a little anticlimactic to me. Like, you can definitely see it in the next panels when Nansen's like, why can't I reach Percival, when he's running towards him, and you can see Tristan's feet, like they actually knocked each other out by running into each other. So that part was kind of lame to me, just because like I get it, they have to be knocked out for what happens later on in the chapter, but it was just a little lame to me. This is where everybody's, their senses are going crazy. No one knows what's going on. And then Hendrickson pops up, and he is informing Nansen that this is all a result of a neurotoxin that Meligalan is admitting. It messes up people's senses of direction, and, messes with their reaction time and ability to evade and all that. And it's, something that's kind of found in demon snakes, which makes sense, seeing as Melascula was a demon snake. So her having this type of ability would make a lot of sense. There is the kind of, I guess, like, if you really wanted to get kind of sweaty about it, you could wonder where this ability was in Seven Deadly Sins when she turned into the giant snake. But it's not like she was in her giant snake form for long, and she's definitely way more stronger since she is enhanced by chaos and fused with Gallon. So maybe this is something that only happens when she's this powerful. So I mean, if you want to get sweaty about it, you can wonder where this has been this entire time, but it's really honestly not that big of a deal. This is when Hendrickson is saying he wants to get everybody vaccinated, but then this is one of the things about why I like this chapter so much, is it really shows, how useful Nansen's is. And this is why I like Nansen's ability, is because no matter what kind of poison it is, once he knows about it, he can, mix it. It's basically stored in him. He can neutralize it. He can create his own things from it. So like any type of poison they run into is going to be added to Nansen's arsenal. And I'm really excited to see if he'll be able to use this in the future. Granted, if he probably can't use it in like a team fight because it might mess up his friends, but if he can find a way to like use this later on, because as we know, he does store toxins inside of him, it's just going to be hyped to see what this does for him in the future. But yeah, after Nansen does heal everybody, Meligalon is about to Meligalon's about to kill him. And this is when we get Dreyfus showing up with his break magic, or break, whatever you want to call it, to basically stop them in their tracks. However, it doesn't really do anything, because this is one thing I was worried about. I thought it did massive damage until I seen that they even say that, oh, it didn't even leave like a single scratch. And this is also when he just continues to just fire a bunch of them off, but it doesn't really do anything. So it really does show that, like, even though people are helping, that they're like how strong they are, their place is still there. Like Dreyfus still isn't that guy, so this is still way above where he is, but Dreyfus is still at least attempting to help. But the really shocking thing here is that Ysolda steps back up and uses her time bomb. She has anything she hits with her mace, it does leave like an explosion that blows up kind of later, and that appears to do like some decent damage to this monster. And it's kind of interesting, makes me wonder exactly how strong Ysolda is. Like what if maybe she could potentially be somewhere near Tristan's level, like maybe while he's in like base or something, which would explain kind of why she's able to do some damage to this monster. So it's just kind of interesting there. I will say it took her a really long time to get here. Like I get it, they were kind of far from where everything was going on, but it definitely took her like a minute to get down here. And then this is when we can also see all the other Holy Knights that were there are starting to get riled up. And it's basically going to be everybody who was there versus this monster. And for next chapter, it is titled the Royal Knight. It is titled the Royal Holy Knights versus Malaska Gallon. And I don't necessarily think this group is going to beat this monster. Like, I don't think all their forces combined is going to be enough. I think they're going to put up a good fight long enough for either Tristan and Percival to get back up, or Lancelot to show up as they're getting back up, or Meliodas might get involved, who knows. But I definitely don't think this group is going to win. If they do, I'll be legitimately shocked. Like, if like Ysolda and Dreyfus and freaking Pelio and all of them, if all of them actually beat this monster, I will be actually shocked. So we're just gonna have to wait and see on that one. Overall, I like this chapter a lot just because of the team aspect, getting Ysolda back involved, getting Nansen's involved and all of that. I will say it's kind of sucky because this chapter does also kind of show that Annie isn't really able to do anything in fights of this like caliber. I mean, granted, her ability is useful from a very practical sense, being able to know when someone's being shady or lying, but in a battle sense, granted, she does have great swordsmanship skill, she still isn't necessarily extremely powerful in a strength kind of aspect. So it makes me wonder exactly how Nakaba is going to, like, I guess, boost her up to even try to make her useful or able to contribute to these kind of things in the future. Because, like, I'm assuming her ability to detect lies would be her magical power, or maybe that could just be some secondary ability and then she's yet to get her magical power. That may be something super broken that can help her do things, because at this moment, Donnie's telekinesis, being able to at least even affect monsters of that caliber, is amazing. Nansen's and his utility is kind of always going to be useful with that kind of like medicinal, alchemisty, herbologist type role. Like, you can always do things, like people can always be like, affected by poisons and drugs. Whereas Annie, just being a good fighter, skill-wise, isn't enough to make you useful in this kind of universe where you need to be strong. So I definitely want to know what Nakaba's plans for her are in the future. The stuff with Gawain is interesting, but like I was saying at the beginning of the video, I really want more explanations. Granted, this isn't really the time, but I would just want to know more about her Variant of Sunshine, just to kind of get more of these questions answered. As always, since I'm a huge fan of Lancelot, I definitely want Lancelot to be inbound next chapter, but like I said, we're gonna have to just wait and see, because I don't think these guys are gonna win. So me personally, I'm hoping on Lancelot to show up and give them a hand. But I am curious to know like what you guys think about the chapter and how you guys are feeling about it. How you guys feel about Gawain being like actually small, like that's her form. I know there was a lot of theories about Gawain could be like a guy, and then she transforms into this girl, which I personally never liked. I felt like it was doing way too much with the character. So it does look like she's going to have a grow and shrink thing similar to the original Escanor. So I'm just kind of curious to know like how you guys feel about that right now while we don't have any info on it. How you guys feel about Nansen's helping and Draves and everybody showing back up? Just kind of, I guess I really want you guys' thoughts on this chapter. For my overall rating, I'll probably give it like a 7.5. I liked it more than last chapter for sure. Just gotta like to see everybody help. The plot really, it only moved like barely a little bit. So I mean, there's not a ton of plot progression, but again, I enjoyed this chapter for me, I guess. So let me know all that stuff down below. Make sure you guys like the video as well as subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in my next video.